Welcome, everyone, to the Bucks County Living Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Neff, your real estate resource in Bucks County. Today, I am joined by the owner and founder of Made in Morrisville, Hussam. Good morning, Hussam. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Alex. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for
Appreciate
coming.
it.
I'm so excited to hear your story and talk about Made in Morrisville and the history of Morrisville. But first, where are you from? What attracted you to Bucks County?
Um, Bucks County. My wife and I were about to start a family, and we moved from North Jersey. That's where we're living before we came to Bucks County. And my in-laws are actually in Newtown.
Okay.
So we were trying to find a kind of a midway to get closer to, hopefully help and just be closer to them. And we kind of started expanding the line, and we drew the furthest point was the max for us was actually Morrisville, and that was further than that would be because we still commute to New York City. Further than that will be kind of more of a commute time.
Further south here in Philadelphia,
Yeah,
basically.
very much.
So,
Yes.
it's either that or
Yeah.
South Jersey.
Yeah, we thought. And I think the commute's still great. Hop on the train. If you get the right train, you're in New York in like within 70 minutes or less.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So Morrisville, so you commute to Manhattan
Yes.
for work.
Yes.
What do you do besides Made in Morrisville full time?
I'm an architect, designer, work on high-end residential. That's the specialties. Yeah, so luckily with I'm able to. I have a flexible schedule as far as like going in the city, so I'm able to also work from home and commute whenever I need to. So it's working out perfectly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So living in North Jersey, wanted to find something in Bucks County to be able to commute to Manhattan for work and be close to your in-laws.
Yes.
So, and they live in Newtown, which is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
So you landed on Morrisville, and I know that we were talking a little bit before we started recording that the history of Morrisville is something that was also kind of attractive to you. So could you tell me a little bit about the history that you've learned about Morrisville?
Yes, sure. At first, we knew it was driving just prior to that. We were, just visiting my in-laws and driving through the towns, along the river and the canal, and just we loved all the old houses and the homes within, the towns. Just from that journey from as you enter Pennsylvania, across the river, and through to Newtown, and that really attracted us in general. And in Morrisville specifically, we fell in love in some of the old houses. The ones that we live in happen to be one of them, and it brings pleasure for me to do anything to old homes, and like as far as like renovating and just working on them. There's craftsmanship and labor of love. As far as the history of Morrisville, quite honestly, I knew there was history, but as I went in depth with this research and then knowing and kind of learning more about it and discovering and researching, I'm amazed of how much history is in Morrisville. And the fact, it goes back to William Penn and the Native American Lenape. That's where the Greystone, that's the first treaty and first purchase of land purchase that William Penn have done and it happened to be in Morrisville. And I think it's incredible that not a lot of people know that, and it's worth celebrating, worth highlighting. And then also you have Somerset in Morrisville. It's the only house that's owned by two founding fathers, Robert Morris and George Clymer. And I think that's amazing. And it also used to be George Washington's headquarters. So I think not a lot of people know this. I ask people sometimes, did you know such and such? And they're like, no. Some people don't even know who Robert Morris is,
Yeah.
and what his contribution to America as we know it. And I think the more I'm discovering, the more I'm peeling the layers, and I'm like, this is amazing, and I think it's worth celebrating, worth sharing. This is not just for Morrisville or for people that live in Morrisville. This is for really for Bucks County and America in general.
I love
To
that. So you're
celebrate.
saying that one of the first land purchases that William Penn made was from the Lenape Native Americans at Greystone in Morrisville.
At Greystone, Morrisville, yes, and it's marked by the giant Greystone, which actually marks the white oak tree which it happened under, and that's where you see the acorn. That's what inspires the acorn and the white oak leaves designs, and our logo
I
basically.
love that because I love the. That was one of my questions. Is what was the significance of the acorn? So
That's
the acorn represents the white oak tree
very much
that the first land purchase in, I guess, America
in
in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania at least
Yes,
really had.
yes,
Okay, so that was wow. That is I'm getting chills right now
yeah,
because like, that is such a beautiful piece of history, and I didn't even know that. And I'm sure this is like all information that you can find online and talk to
yes,
historians
yes.
that are in Bucks County, and that's incredible.
And we try to be. I mean, we are careful with the information we share. We cite like in my if you go to my website you see the designs, and we cite the references where we have that information. So it's there for everyone to see to review. So we're our aim to be when we are referencing any historic events or historic references, we cite them out, and to make sure that we're um, we're sharing accurate information
Awesome.
and not
Awesome.
yeah.
So what? So that's the significance of Morrisville and Bucks County. Can you talk a little bit about Robert Morris and what kind of role he played in everything as a founding father?
Well, Robert Morris was, I think, is the fact that not a lot of people know who he is or what his contribution is not unfortunate, but I think there's a great deal to learn here, and I think he financed the American Revolution. He basically was America's bank at some point.
Oh wow.
So I think without really, one can argue without him, we wouldn't have America as we know it today. And I think that's a great contribution, and to worth celebrating and worth sharing. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
That's wonderful. And then I really love how your clothing brand, Made in Morrisville, kind of pays tribute to not just Morrisville, but I guess if A equals B and B equals C, without Morrisville, we might not have America as we know it.
one can argue that yes.
Yeah. So I love that your brand really kind of embraces that history of Bucks County and really the start to one of America's birthplaces.
Yes, I mean they're all connected. I mean Morrisville was connected to Philadelphia in some sense because Robert Morris did live also in Philadelphia, and the two are connected, and that was his kind of retreat home, summer seat in Morrisville, and so the two are connected. All the other Bucks County, I was talking earlier to you, like how all the older towns along within Bucks County, they all have a common thread of William Penn or George Washington. In some places, so there is this kind of thing that ties them together, and you're not unifying them really, and that's kind of what we're influenced by as well.
Yeah, I think because like Foslington, which is right next to Morrisville,
Yes.
was William Penn's summer home,
Yes.
correct? And that was kind of where he would go to take his summer retreats to kind of get into the countryside and out of the hustle and bustle
Yep.
in Philadelphia in the city, and really just kind of reflect and get back to his grassroots, and then kind of come up with a game plan for like what is next, what is next for Pennsylvania, what is
Mhm.
next for Philadelphia, and what is next for the surrounding
Yep.
colony. Basically, it was
Yep.
still a colony at that
Yep.
point. So,
Yep.
um, so that's Fallsington, and that's literally right next to Morrisville.
Yes, and it's kind of what we're doing. I mean, in a way, like us, a lot of people that I know, also like a lot of neighbors, they commute, work in cities, either in Philly or New York City, and that's kind of their, downtime. This. I have a moment of zen. Like when I come from a long day of in the city and cross the Delaware, and that view of the sunset along the Delaware to me is breathtaking, and to me it's like forgetting all your troubles,
Yeah.
and welcome home.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nothing greater to be welcomed by that scene right there, that moment.
I love it.
I think it's so that alone is worth the move.
Yeah, it really is an indescribable
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
It
yeah.
really is. So you purchased an older house. Is it one of the Morrisville Victorians or one of the Morrisville bungalows? 'Cause I know
No,
they have a
it's
few different styles of houses.
yeah, it's all it's not it was maybe it was not it was considered the advanced at the time. It's a 1900s
Okay.
house. It's a colonial, half colonial kind of vernacular in a way. It's an interesting house, I would
Okay.
say, in an interesting location. And actually, it's not too far from the Greystones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like the older style houses because not only do they have a certain type of character and charm, and we were talking before, it's always like one project to another project, and really kind of make it your own footprint, make it your own
Yeah.
home, and you purchase it, it turns into a blank canvas, and you can turn it into whatever you want. And that's something that I love about an older home personally, just
Mhm.
because it gives you that flexibility
Sure.
to really be able to do some of the things. And you also serve in Morrisville Borough on the zoning board.
On the zoning board and on the Economic Development Corporation.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you had you knew the zoning from inside out on how you could work on your home going forward. What is within the guidelines of the zoning laws and
Sure,
bylaws
yes,
in Morrisville.
yes. But I think yes, totally, and I think the preserving our history, preserving the architecture, and I think sadly I've seen some houses like old, yeah, but then not necessarily. I mean, again, it's maintain. There's if it's a certain age, I think it's always worth saving, and because you'll never have that again, unless
agree.
unless it's unlimited budget
Yeah.
at that point. But I think to build the same house in the same way, but then there are to add to your point, what's nice about older homes, they're flexible into like adding. You can have you always see these like small Cape Cod style homes, and behind it you have an extension of a comfortable addition,
Yep.
which is not necessarily taken away, but is not to divert from it's within the same thing. It's kind of highlighting the good things we have, and make people aware and raise awareness, and in the process it's preserving. you
Yeah.
know.
And that's great. I absolutely love it because there is a certain type of charm, a rustic charm to buying an older home and preserving that history that comes along with it.
Yes.
That's wonderful. So, the your clothing brand, not only do you have the acorn logo, I thought one of the people that were portrayed on the clothing was, it's not Ben Franklin. That is in fact Robert Morris,
Yes.
one of the founding fathers. So I love that you pay tribute to Robert Morris, who you said financed the one of the financiers of the Revolutionary War for us to get our independence, and I learned that today. I had no idea.
No, it's great. A lot of people I didn't know either, and I was amazed to know this. And he lobbied behind the scene for Morrisville to be the capital.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Yes, and it was actually, right, from my understanding, it was supposed to be on the right across from where Trenton's capital, and it's 5 times bigger.
Yeah,
I mean, just imagining that scene is amazing.
yeah, it
in
really
itself.
is.
I think there's a lot of amazing things he contributed to Morrisville, to Bucks County, and to Pennsylvania in general, and the U.S.
Yeah, that's great. Now there's also a cardinal
Yes.
that you use for your clothing brand.
Yes.
Could you talk about the significance of the cardinal a little bit?
Yes, I mean there a lot of the designs are also inspired by my own experience, so it's kind of translated through my experiences. So Cardinal happened to be one of them, and basically it's celebrating the fact that Morrisville and also along the canal and the Delaware, all the Bucks County towns have Morrisville also is a bird designated bird town, um, and this is something I did not know as well, where more than 150 bird species live along the canal,
Wow.
and cardinal happened to be one of them. And for me, the experience with the cardinal is just kind of seeing that the dark green background of the shrubs, and seeing the piercing red right through it. To me, it resonated with me, and that's where some of the one design came from, and inspired it. Um, I think the cardinal is did not know that, but it's in a way it actually speaks to a lot of people in different ways, which I did not realize it, and I'm glad that it did. I have people like some break in tears when they see it. It reminds them of loved ones, and I have people that they love the design, and they like the T-shirt or the tote bag, and I think that's kind of, to me, that's our job is done here, as far as like our goal is for the designs to speak to people on multiple levels, and to have meaningful, a purpose and a meaning behind it as well.
Yeah, and I think you make a really great point, because the cardinal, it is such a beautiful bird, and I know there are tons of bird watching groups around Bucks County,
Yes.
and especially along the canal.
Yep.
So when we see a cardinal, because I live in Lower Bucks County, I'm
Yep.
right in the town next to Morrisville. When my fiance and I see a cardinal, she always thinks that the cardinal and the blue jay is like
Yep.
her grandmother and
Blue jay, yep,
grandfather
yep.
coming to visit her, and it is really powerful.
Yep.
It is just a bright red, vibrant bird
Yes.
to just see in the middle of the beautiful foliage
Yes.
that Bucks County has,
Yep.
and that's incredible. I love that you were able to embody a lot of that through your clothing brand, and through the accessories that you make and sell as well. So that's wonderful. Now, what kind of events and shops are you located in, so that people can actually find your Made in Morrisville brand?
Um, right now, I've been participating in a lot of farmers markets.
Tons of farmers markets in
Yes.
Bucks County.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Yes, it's great, and you have, what's great about it. You have access to all walks of lives, and you did get to see your designs and react to it, I was recently, I was at the Bristol Sunday stroll. That was an amazing event. Um, there is upcoming.
That's right on Mill Street, right?
Yes, yes. There's an upcoming event. The family, I believe the wording, the Family Pride Festival in Percy on Saturday 25th.
Okay.
I will be at that event as well. And I'll be actually launching, you heard it here first, I'll be launching the Bucks County, we have the Bucks County line, but it would be also featuring highlighting some of the good things that we have in other towns along Bucks County as well.
That's awesome. So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
The Bucks County line is going to be rolled out, courtesy of Made in Morrisville,
Yes.
and there are going to be different towns, different historical things that happened around Bucks County, and embracing all that Bucks County has to offer,
Yes.
courtesy of Made in Morrisville and Hussam and his team. That's awesome.
And just to add, yes, basically adding to that is Morrisville is the start to Made in Morrisville, and we're definitely looking into Bucks County and as a whole, and celebrating the county as well, and within the towns within it. And then as far as events, definitely check us out on social media. We post where we're going to be, and our website as well. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Made in Morrisville.
Awesome.
Yes.
What is the vision, or like what? Because we were talking a little bit about we all have our destination. We wonder what the journey looks like.
Yes.
So what is like the destination? What is the goal for Made in Morrisville?
Well, the goal is provide obviously quality merchandise, and where it has the merchandise. The purpose of the merchandise is celebrate Bucks County and celebrate Morrisville and the towns within it, within Bucks County, and also as I was mentioning earlier, we're evolving, and and we're growing, and our ideas are growing, but then we have the goal, and I feel like one of the outcomes is a unifying message, really, for residents to celebrate, to enjoy, and to share. Have a little thank you
Well,
gift
thank you.
from courtesy of Made in Morrisville.
Well, thank you so much. Is it okay if I open it right
Yeah,
here?
Of course, yeah.
Awesome. What do we? Oh, you got me the cardinal.
I'm glad that you mentioned the cardinal. And you
Yeah.
liked it. Okay,
Oh, this is great. Oh, it's a tote bag too,
yes.
and some stickers.
Stickers and a magnet.
Oh, this is awesome. Let's get the camera. Let's make sure the camera gets us the.
You could actually. That's amazing. That you can see
Yeah.
it through this.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Awesome. I appreciate that, Hussam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hussam, for talking about Made in Morrisville.
Sure.
Next, I like to move into a segment called the Big Three.
All right.
So the Big Three are the three questions that I ask everybody that comes on the show.
Yes.
My first question is, what do you think makes Bucks County such a great place to live?
I think the biggest is probably you're familiar with is location.
Yep.
You can't beat the location, honestly. And I think not a lot of people really know it. They know of it, but not know, like you, especially like if I lived in New Jersey, I worked in New York. A lot of people go, further into like Long Island,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't consider coming south, which I think is great because it's also, have access, and that's a great thing. Access to the Delaware, have Philly and in New York and major airports. So really and then your nature, so you're not giving up anything really. You
Yeah.
have everything, and I think it's great. Princeton's not too far, so I think you have the best of all the worlds.
Yeah,
living
the
in Bucks.
three most important things in real estate: location, location, location.
And I think you can't beat that. And I think, honestly, it's one of the reasons why the founding fathers considered Morrisville home.
Yeah.
It was location, and if it's good for them, it's good for me.
Yeah, exactly. I love that you brought up Long Island too. Nothing wrong with living on Long Island,
No, I
right
know,
outside
yeah,
of Manhattan.
yeah.
But a train from Islip to Manhattan
Yeah.
is the same amount of time from Morrisville to Manhattan.
Yes.
And Morrisville, Islip is like triple the cost of living on the island.
And you cross
But-
3 states.
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point, which I think is amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's wonderful. So my next question is, what is one of your favorite restaurants in Bucks County?
Well, that's probably one of the toughest questions.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that before, but it
There's
is.
so many.
There's so many good ones. Can I say 3?
Yeah, please.
All right.
Let everybody know where your favorite places are.
Okay, Bitch and Kitten
Okay.
Brewery in Morrisville on Bridge Street. They're doing great. They have great food, and just, I think it's an awesome place. You have Charcoal in Yardley.
Charcoal's
That's
beautiful.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then I want to say Harvest in Newtown.
Harvest is also
That's,
really good.
Can I add one more?
Yeah, please. You're making me hungry.
Blue Sage and
Ooh.
Tulsa. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Awesome.
So you can see it's they all have a lot of good things to offer.
yeah, there's no shortage of good restaurants in Bucks County.
No, there isn't.
Awesome. And my last question, Hussam, is where can people find out more about you and Made in Morrisville?
Okay, as I mentioned, on social media, definitely, Instagram, Facebook, our website, madeinmorrisville.com.
Awesome.
And definitely we'll be posting our events, so you can be up to date. Subscribe, so you can find out more and first about all the events that we are involved in.
Awesome. Awesome. I appreciate you coming out today, Hussam, and talking about the history of Morrisville, your wonderful brand, and what the goal is for you and the company. I'm really excited to see what Made in Morrisville has, and what all of the Bucks County merchandise you come out with can really help us in the community. So I'm very excited.
Much
And
appreciated.
as always, I'm your host, Alex Neff, your real estate resource in Bucks County. And if you have any questions about Bucks County living, I am your real estate resource.